Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how good Pokemon Trainer is in the meta. So we're going to be going over all the different Pokemon, their advantages, their disadvantages, some top reps of the character, tier list, all that kind of stuff. And let's just get right into it. And before we talk about anything, I want to talk about when you should be switching with Pokemon. And this is a bit of a tricky thing because it is very subjective. A lot of people think you should be playing Squirtle to like 60%. Then you switch to Ivysaur, you play to like 110%, maybe you get a kill, and then after that you switch to Charizard to secure the stock. You should be playing based off the matchups, based off your preference, and based off your success. If you go like 90 to 20% with Squirtle, why would you ever switch off Squirtle? Just keep racking on that damage. You'll find the kill eventually. I mean, he has a killing back throw. He has kill confirms off the jab block. He has very good edge guarding. He is a character that can steal the stock. And even if you don't steal the stock, let's say you get them all the way to like 160 and you're at like 50 now. That's still great for you. Put yourself in an amazing lead. Now you can maybe switch to a Charizard. Now you can maybe switch to an Ivysaur. I feel like people really want to switch off Squirtle for some reason, even though he is the best of the three Pokemon in a majority of the matchups. And this is where it does get a little bit more tricky because there are certain matchups where Ivysaur is going to be better. Charizard is going to have success in certain matchups. There are some where Squirtle's not even going to do that well. And you, as the Pokemon trainer, you need to figure out which matchups are working for your Pokemon. Because again, you look at the best Pokemon trainer player in the world right now in QUIDD, he plays a majority of Ivysaur because Ivysaur is his best character. Like, he is insane with Ivysaur, and his other three Pokemon are good too, and he does use them, but he puts a majority of his trust into the Ivysaur because he's the most confident with that. You shouldn't be locking yourselves into certain percent ranges. Like, do you know what? I'm doing really well with my Squirtle, I'm farming, but I've gotten them to 80%. It's time to switch to Ivysaur and start doing some damage so I can take the stock. No, you should be playing when you're having success. If you're doing really well in Ivysaur, keep playing Ivysaur. If you're doing really well in Charizard even, keep playing Charizard. Now let's actually talk about the Pokemons themselves, starting off with Squirtle, who is, in my opinion, the best of the three. He's really small, he's really quick. The only stat that's not super going for him is going to be his weight. He is an incredibly light character, so you're definitely not going to want to play him in last stock, last hit scenarios, but everywhere else, I think he is amazing. He has Nair as a great get off me tool, and the rest of his arrows are all amazing combo tools. They'll combo into themselves, they'll combo into a grab for some of them. You have Downer, which is going to be comboing into a grab. Forward air is going to chain into itself. Up air, you get some crazy ladder combos. Like Squirtle's combo game off his aerials is ridiculous, and off its tilt, it's pretty good too. He has his up tilts, which is kind of like a Mario up tilt in the sense where if you hit it, it's good because you get some combos off it, but the hitbox for it is really small. You're not going to be hitting it all the time. You have F tilt, which is amazing because not only does it confirm into a grab, it also is confirmed for tech chase scenarios towards the higher percents. It's one of the only ways that Squirtle can actually secure the kill, and it's really quick. You can spam this move on someone's shield. You can just spam this move on neutral in general. It's just overall an amazing tool. Dash attack is going to be a great combo move as well. You have down tilt, which is really good for two framing, and that leads me into his specials because if you can down tilt two frame someone, sends them at a really nice angle for water gun, and water gun pushes people away. An amazing edge guarding tool on top of the fact that he already has good edge guarding tool with a move like Nair that is going to be lingering for so long. Then for his other specials, he's going to have Upbeat, which is amazing. It's a great combo move, or not a combo move, but an out of shield move. It also can two frame certain characters, which I didn't know about, but that's something that QUIDD showed me this weekend. I mean, he showed many people a lot of things this weekend, but Squirtle's Upbeat is a great tool. You can combo into it as well, but it's not something that's going to be super reliable. Like, you're not going to get it all the time, though if you do hit it, it does do a decent amount of damage. Can be a little bit risky though. And then you have his side B, which I would probably say is the weakest of his moves, maybe up tilt as well, but you can kind of just jump over it. It is an intercepting tool. It can be a little bit tricky. It does have armor on it, so if you just hit it, Squirtle's going to go flying the other way, but at least he's not going to take any real damage from it. He is going to lose stage position. No, definitely not a move that you just want to throw out, but everything else in Squirtle's kit, they're very spammable, they're very quick. He has amazing frame data, and a lot of it combos into itself. Next up is Ivysaur, and the three main things for Ivysaur that I value are going to be his disjoints, his projectile, and his cheese. Ivysaur's cheese is really good because he be stealing stocks without downer at 40. He has so many different tricks with his up B and his up air, and just like he has so many ways that he can just steal the stock from you 60%, 90%. It doesn't matter what percent you are in danger of dying to Ivysaur. And on top of that, his disjoints are insane, especially in the aerials. Now, Ivysaur's tilts, they're nothing to cry about. They're pretty weak. His up tilt isn't really useful. His down tilt, I would say, is the best of his tilts because it actually has a use. It is a nice poking tool. It's frame forward fairly quick, but his F tilt, not a big hitbox, and it's also a fairly slow hitbox. I mean, if you miss it, you're going to get absolutely torn apart. And then for his jab, it's just a normal dab. Dash attack is okay, but it's nothing exceptional. but his aerial game, when you have these massive disjoints, I mean, his back air combos into itself, massive disjoint. Forward air combos into other things like Upbeat, massive disjoint. I mean, I don't even need to tell you how big the disjoints are on down air and up air, but they're pretty big. Nair has a nice little disjoint. It's nothing crazy though. It's going to be used more as a lingering hitbox. Really good for going off stage and edge guarding. If you don't want to commit to something as hard as a down air, you could just go off and clip their jump with a neutral air. You have his specials. Obviously, his side B is going to be the only real projectile that Pokemon Trainer is going to have, and it's also a projectile that you can combo off of, which is always a nice bonus. His other specials, though, are a little bit weird. I mean, his up B is pretty good because you can hit it through the stage, you can combo into it, you can cancel it on the ledge as well, so it just makes it more tricky in general. Ivysaur, again, he is very slow, and you make up for that by having a lot of tricks. His neutral special, though, it's fairly useless. There's not going to be a ton of times to use this. Same thing with his up tilt as well. It's like they're not entirely useless moves, but when you have access to up air, they kind of become useless. His grab game is amazing. He has 2 kill throws in down throw and back throw, as well as just having a combo game off of down throw. Like, he gets a lot from throws. I mean, Pokemon Trainer just gets a lot from grab. And then finally, you are going to have his smash attack. So Ivysaur's best smash attack, I would say, is definitely his forward smash because of its use for ledge trapping. You can cover roll, you can cover neutral get up, you can cover get up attack, you can cover get off the ledge into jump aerial, you can cover so many things with that, but it is fairly committal as well. I just like the fact that it's a strong move, hits really far in front of him, and he pulls back as well when he does it. You have his up smash, which is pretty much just his up air on the ground, and then you have his down smash, which is a little bit of a weird move, but it does have its intricate uses. It sends out some really nice disjoint hitboxes to both sides of him, so it can for sure catch people off guard. And our final Pokemon is going to be Charizard. And I know I said earlier on in the video that you don't really need to worry about archetypes with this character, but for Charizard, I recommend that you either play him at the very low percent, like your opponent is like just spawning in with a new stock because he has amazing cheese, or at the very high percent so he can close out the stock, because basically everything Charizard has kills him. By basically everything, I mean except for his up tilt, his down tilt, and his Nair. Everything else is not only a kill move, but it's a decently strong kill move, and even his Nair and down tilt have really good uses for killing. Down tilt sends people at a very nice angle when they're on the ledge. Nair is an amazing move because it's so massive and it lingers for so long. Like Charizard Nair is ridiculously broken. The rest of his aerials are really strong killing moves. Down air is a nice spike. Up air is a really good juggling tool. Forward air has this nice little disjoint with the claws. Back air, don't even get me started. Back air is one of the most ridiculous moves in this game. If you hit that taper back air, you're going to be killing people at 30. And people will back throw back air people and kill them at 30. That's what I'm talking about when Charizard has cheese. And speaking of the Charizard grab game, it's insane. I mean, down throw is going to be a combo throw. The rest of them are going to be kill throws, and they're like decently strong kill throws as well. So when you have not only a killing jab, you also now have a killing grab, and you also have a frame 6 up smash that kills. Charizard's up smash out of shield is incredible. It's one of the best things about him in that last stock, last hit scenario, because you can't touch his shield, he'll grab you and kill you, and he'll jab you, which is frame 4, and kill you. Like, he just gets so many different ways where he can apply pressure. The rest of his smash attacks aren't anything crazy, but they're just going to be really strong because they are on Charizard. And finally, you're going to have his special. His neutral special is going to be Flamethrower, which is kind of just like a Diet Bowser Flamethrower. It feels a little bit less risky, but you're not going to be getting as much damage with it. You have Flare Blitz, which is your kind of your best way to get out of disadvantage, but outside of that, it really is just a Hail Mary. It's frame 23. It's very slow. If it hits, you're going to be getting a bunch of damage. If they shield it, you're probably going to die, so it's a very risky option. And then finally, you're going to have his Upbeat out of shield, or just his Upbeat in general, which is really nice. It has armor on it. It's frame 9. It goes pretty far. It kills as well, so that's another option that he has out of shield that he could just call you out with because it does have the armor on it. Like Charizard, again, in that last stock, last hit scenario, he is so good at getting the kill because he has so many different ways to do it. Whether it be a call out with Upbeat, whether you just hit his shield, he up smashes you, he grabs you, he jabs you, he really has it all. Also, something that I just completely forgot to mention with Charizard is he does have the best recovery of the 3 characters. If you're ever in a pickle, you can definitely just switch between all the characters and recover with Charizard because he is going to have not only that extra jump, but he's also going to have his side B, which can get him to the ledge, is really scary to contest with, and his up B, which is going to have armor. So if you find yourself having a lot of trouble off stage, you could switch to Charizard for the recovery, and then once you get back into the neutral, you could just switch back to Squirtle or Ivysaur, or just keep playing it out with Zard. So let's talk about the disadvantages of the Pokemon. You're going to have Squirtle. I'd say his biggest issues are going to be massive disjoints because he is a fairly stubby character, as well as being incredibly light. Now, luckily, it's very easy to play around this because you get to 80% and you just switch off Squirtle. But sometimes even at 60%, you get kill confirmed before you even realize it, which can be a bit of a problem. You have Ivysaur as well. He's just a really slow character. He can also get bullied off stage fairly hard, so you got to be aware of that. And then you have Charizard, who is fairly obvious. He's going to be massive. Like, he's a very easy character to just clip with the move. And can keep him in the disadvantage. I will also say all the Pokemon don't have amazing disadvantage, and they do all have their ways of kind of getting out of disadvantage, but they're all fairly risky. You have Squirtle, he has a side B, but again, that's super committal. He can also just push himself away with Water Gun, which is what I recommend you do. Just kind of reset the situation, maybe clip your opponent with the water as well, and they get pushed to the other side of the stage. You have Ivysaur, who has his massive downer, but also it's a very risky thing to kind of throw out that downer. Charizard, kind of the same thing, except he has side B as well, but you're going to be taking a little bit of damage from side B, and you're probably going to need to side B back to stage anyway, so you're going to be doing 2 side Bs in the disadvantage. Well, you do get out of disadvantage, you're going to be taking that residual damage, and if you're doing it every single time you get up there, you're going to be putting too much damage on yourself. But also, you have a frame 1 swap of Pokemon Trainer, which is really nice. You're able to get out of combos that aren't super precise, but also a lot of the time you're just kind of punished the second that you swap, because there is a little bit of lag after that. So you have to be aware when you're in the disadvantage with the character, and you have to be playing around all the weaknesses. Like, again, there's some obvious ones. Don't play Charizard at the really low percents when you're playing as a combo character like Sheep. Don't play Squirtle at like last stock, last hit percents when you're at like 100%. Why would you stick on Squirtle when you could switch to Charizard and live a lot longer? And then if you're getting bullied off stage, you're getting run down, you probably just shouldn't play Ivysaur. And we have a Pokemon matchup chart here. This one was made by QUIDD, so his link will be down below. And when I'm looking at these matchup charts, the main thing that I look out for is how does the opponent deal with Squirtle, and how do they deal with Ivysaur? Because Charizard, I feel like, is a lot more player versus player than matchup versus matchup, because every single character in this game is going to be able to punish Charizard. But also, Charizard is going to be able to steal stocks from every single character in this game. I think with Charizard, you're able to make a couple more mistakes because you are a little bit heavier, and your opponent can't make as many mistakes because you're going to be able to hit them so hard, but it's also much easier for your opponent to be able to control the neutral to have success over you. So that's why I don't really value Charizard as much, because I feel like it's a lot more player versus player than matchup versus matchup, though of course there are going to be some exceptions to that. But if you look in the disadvantage tier, you have Young Ligadier, who has a disjoint to deal with Squirtle and has better camping than Ivysaur, as well as eating Charizard alive in the combo game. Same thing with Olimar. Diddy Kong's not going to have that disjoint, but he's going to have way better neutral than Ivysaur, so he's absolutely going to own him there. And his combos versus Squirtle, he is a small character, so he's not going to have to worry about Squirtle's low profiling, and this kind of continues in the slight disadvantage as well, except these characters have just like way better camping. Maybe not better than a character like Mega Man, but you have Mega Man, better camping than Ivysaur, has a disjoint. Joker, better camping than Ivysaur, has a disjoint. You have the Rats, better camping than Ivysaur, and they don't have to worry about Squirtle's low profiling. And all of these characters, again, absolutely eat Charizard alive, but he still can steal stocks away from them. So you kind of get the general trend. And if you look down here, these are characters that Pokemon Trainer is going to have so many great combos with, or have really good neutral with, or just good camping with Ivysaur. I mean, you look right here, you have a lot of heavy characters in here, even some really good characters in here. You have Game Watch. I think Ivysaur does very well versus Game Watch. You have a character like Sonic. I think Squirtle is able to keep up with Sonic fairly well. You have Ivysaur's disjoint to deal with him as well. You have Aegis here. Very good edge guarding for Pokemon Trainer, because all 3 of the Pokemon have amazing edge guarding, as well as being able to keep up in the neutral with Squirtle. The low profiling can help out. There's just a lot of scenarios where does the low profiling work, and does the camping work for Ivysaur, as well as does the character have a massive disjoint? If the answer is no, you're probably going to lose. And even if you do have some of these solutions, maybe you do have a disjoint, maybe you do still have some pretty solid camping, you need all 3 of the solutions to be able to deal with Pokemon, because just because you could deal with Ivysaur, just because you could deal with Squirtle, you still have to deal with the other 2, which is what makes the character so good. So let's actually talk about Pokemon Trainer at the top level, and unfortunately, a majority of the top PT reps just don't really go to a ton of events. I mean, starting with this top 5, we have Puppey, who only has 3 events under his belt that have 100 players or more. He's got 33rd at Let's Make Big Moves with wins on players like Nuggets and Teaser, 33rd at Collision with wins on players like Wilds, Zexy, and Synergy, 2nd place at Stickdrift 4 with a really nice loser run beating No Tag, Zexy, Vivi, Peanut, and Ling. Next up, you're going to have Master Art, same thing. Not a lot of events. 17th place at Sweet Spot 7 with a win on Zen, and a 4th place at Combo Breaker with another really nice loser run with wins on Crows, Skits, So Good Pop, and Eseb. So Puppey and Masternard, they haven't been to a ton of events, but when they do go to stuff, they are getting results. They are getting some big upset wins. So definitely players that you have to keep on your radar. Beast as well, not doing as well at the major level with a 65th at Collision and a 97th at Let's Make Big Moves, but at the regionals, he's been doing amazing. 17th place at Eon Revolution, 17th place at Xanadu Homecoming, 9th place at CT GamerCon, 17th place at Gateway Legends, beating Ned, 13th place at Hi-Rez. I mean, he has been absolutely farming these regional events, so hopefully he'll be able to take that to the major level soon. You have Noi, who I would say is the best Pokemon trainer in Japan and the 2nd best Pokemon trainer player in the world right now. Now, it is notable that he does have a very prominent secondary Olimar, so it's not technically a full-blown PT main, but we don't have a lot of PT players that we can really talk about, so Noi is definitely going to be on this list, and he definitely does play the character enough to be considered a main of them. You also have a Torier who's picking up PT a little bit more now, but I didn't really want to add him to the list because a majority majority of the runs this year have been Wolf of him. But back to Noi, he has a 17th place at Tsubaki 14, 3rd place at Toyota Grand Slam, only losing to Mia and Tsubaki, by the way, which is pretty insane. 17th place at Kagurabi 10, 9th place at Delta 4, 13th place at Tsubaki 13, 17th place at Umebura SP9. He hasn't quite top 8 a major yet, though of course he does have that 3rd place at Toyota Grand Slam, but the second that this guy top 8's his first major, I don't know if he's top 8 in a major in the past, but I don't believe he has. No, he has not. So the second that this guy top 8's his first major, I feel like it's going to be a massive mental boundary that he just breaks, and he's going to skyrocket into being one of Japan's best players. And to be honest, he kind of already is one of Japan's best players, so Noi is definitely someone you got to look out for, but definitely the best rep of Pokemon Trainer. Even if Noi maybe even has better results just because he has a lot more results, it's going to be QUIDD. QUIDD is 100% Pokemon Trainer's best rep. He has a 33rd at Let's Make Big Moves with wins on Chase and Cosma. 17th place at Collision with a really nice loser's run after losing very early on to Sweshi with wins on Dawn, DDP, Chag, Sinji, DeBuzz, and Yoda Cage. So amazing run from him. And then most recently, he was going to get his first place at High Res, beating Luis twice, Leon, Jackal, Geist, Vivi, and BDB. QUIDD is God's gift Pokemon Trainer. This guy is actually so insanely talented, and he's just someone that I need to see more at the top level because he is genuinely incredible, like top 10 talent incredible. So how good do I actually think Pokemon Trainer is? I think very highly of this character. I have PT in my top 20, and the reason for that is there are so many solutions that Pokemon Trainer has to so many different problems. Because you have access to 3 Pokemon, they all have their different ways to deal with it, and while maybe 2 of the Pokemon sometimes struggle in certain areas, all it takes is that one Pokemon. It's very rare where all 3 of the Pokemon are going to be checked in scenarios, and of course this is going to happen, and that's why those matchups are losing. But a majority of the time, one of the Pokemon is going to be able to bring you success. They all have amazing things about them. They do a ton of damage. They have probably the best set of grabs throughout Smash Ultimate. Like every single Pokemon has amazing grabs, amazing aerial game. All of their tilts have at least some amounts of use. Pokemon Trainer overall is just a great character. Has a lot going for him. And while there are some disadvantages, I think Pokemon Trainer is one of the best characters in the game at playing around your disadvantages because you could just straight up avoid them a lot of the time. So yeah, I think this character is still top 20. Absolutely broken. Let me know what you guys think, and I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Sports been absolutely unreal lately. If there's any player that I left out in the top 5 Pokemon Trainer players, anything that I just got wrong in this video or forgot to mention, please let me know down below. Be sure to sub and all that yada yada, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.